The lords of the Isles called Islay the jewel of the Hebrides because of its wonderful greenness and the fertility of its soil. The world-class off-road vehicle Land Rover owes its existence to Islay, as Lord Rootes had an estate on the island and designed the vehicle for use on it. Port Ellen, where the ferry docks, was built as a planned village in 1821. As you leave the village heading east, a short coastal road takes you past the romantic ruin of the Castle of Dunivaik at the water's edge. King James VI, who wanted an end to the clan hostility, agreed to a plan by the Earl of Argyll to establish one of his kinsmen, Sir John Campbell of Calder, on the island as owner. This was regarded as an insult by the MacDonalds to have a Campbell, their most bitter of rivals, in charge of their island, so they seized Dunivaik Castle. Campbell sent a fleet of 4 ships and 200 soldiers to recapture it, but bad weather made them hold up in Texas Sound for a month. Once they discovered Port Ellen Bay, they unloaded their guns and hauled them up to Dunivaik. The MacDonalds managed to flee in time as Campbell took possession. During 450 years of bitter rivalry and bloodshed, the MacDonalds and Campbells only fought on the same side on one occasion, and that was under Robert the Bruce at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314. No matter the reasons behind the conflict, whether it was political, religious or sovereignty, the Campbells and the MacDonalds always took opposite sides. In 1631, much of the castle was demolished, but Sir Alistair MacDonald, who fought beside the great Montrose during the Wars of the Covenant, rebuilt it for the king and left it in the hands of his father, Colachirtach. It was besieged by government forces under the renowned General Leslie, who was unable to force surrender until they found the source of its water supply and cut it off. Colla came out under a flag of truce, but Leslie had him seized and hanged from a mast taken from his own galley. A few short miles along this attractive single-track road, you can make out the gable end of the ruined Kildalton Chapel. Near here is Islay's greatest historical treasure, the Kildalton Cross, which stands below the ruin in a wooded area. Its sculptor is believed to have come from Iona to carve this cross from a single slab of greenish-coloured stone around the year 800 AD. Nearby, the now deserted mansion of Kildalton Castle was put under a curse by an old woman who ended her days in Canada, one of the crofters cleared to make way for sheep. The local MP, John Ramsay, built the castle in 1870. Return to Port Ellen and exit to the north, passing a famous Islay landmark, the square lighthouse situated at Carrickatha on the south end of Kilnaughton Bay, an unusual design erected in 1832 by the Laird of Islay, Walter Frederick Campbell, in memory of his wife Eleanor. The village of Port Ellen was also founded by Walter and named after his wife some 11 years earlier. Here the numerous cliffs and caves of the Mull of Oa were once the centre of illicit whisky distillers and smugglers. A monument stands high on a deserted hilltop. This was erected by the American Red Cross to remember those who lost their lives when the troop ship HMS Tuscania was torpedoed in February 1918. Also, the Otranto was lost in October of the same year. The sea off Islay is littered with over 200 wrecks. Perhaps the saddest of these was the Exmouth of Newcastle, which lost its bearings during one of the worst storms ever to ravage Islay and smashed into the rugged coastline. The ship was full of Irish emigrant families heading for a new life in Quebec. In total, 241 Irish migrants lost their lives in what is still the biggest maritime disaster in Irish history.